Welcome to Art Pays Me. Today we have Cairista MacIsaac. So Cairista MacIsaac is going to be telling us about ArtWorks East. And it's an organization based in Guysborough County, Nova Scotia. And they they help folks do this art thing. And I'm happy to talk with you, Cairista. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. And yourself?
I'm better.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Gosh, you know what? I'm gonna go on a tangent a little bit. I
Yeah.
let myself down a little bit, trying to take on a lot of things, and I finally tackled a project that I've been procrastinating on, and my collaborator was like, "Yeah, I already decided to go in a different direction." So then
Oh
it was like
no.
a wake-up call for me of like, the thing I should have just said, "No, I don't have time to do." I end up getting fired from.
Oh no.
So it sucked, but at the same time, I'm kind of relieved. It means I can put more time into things that I know how to do or have, more whatever for. So
Yeah. Learning
anyway,
curves.
yeah. So, with that said, what is Artworks East?
So Artworks East is a collective of artists and crafters from across Guysborough County. We started back in 2019, and it was just a group of a few artists, and they were selling at Christmas markets, selling to family and friends. And then in 2021, we actually opened a summer gallery down on the Guysborough waterfront. So from there, it's just expanded and grown. We're probably at, I'd say about 60 members now, and about
Wow.
90% of those members are artists from the area. And what's really great about it is some of these people have grown up their whole lives in Guysborough County, excuse me, and then some of these people have moved in from away. So it's really kind of built that bridge between the people who have lived here their whole lives and those that are newcomers to the area, and kind of creating this kind of artist collective, where we can share and support each other in various ways. But it's kind of grown into something even more over the years, because now we offer workshops. These workshops are various skill levels and art mediums, and they've taken place across Guysborough County, mostly in the northern part of Guysborough County. We're still trying to expand a little further, closer probably like Sheet Harbor and closer to the Halifax County line.
Hmm.
But just this year alone, we've done 100 community-based workshops, which is a lot for the area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you find that people are excited to have this kind of group close by?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
what's really nice about it is a lot of the workshops are affordable. Like sometimes it's
yeah.
$10 to opt in. Some of them are even free, where you get the payment reimbursed. We're going to try to work a bit on more of a tiered program. So those that are more skilled, and for instance, like stained glass workshops, that involves a lot more material and things like that. So trying to
Uh-huh.
offer a little bit more, maybe like $40 for those types of things. But it's been great because we have a lot of low income families in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And by making art accessible to them, it kind of opens up that possibility that, hey, I can take part of that. This is not just some type of elite thing that I have to go to, like pay thousands of dollars and get, like that. They can tap into their inner artist, whether they decide to go the whole way with it or just something, they want to do in their free time, and
Yeah,
connect with others.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. And I saw something where you mentioned working with artists that have different challenges and other things like that. And like, how has that impacted the organization? And did you kind of start with that mission in the beginning?
Yeah, I think that was part of the mission, was to do whatever they could to really involve themselves in the community. And it's not just like the way that rural Nova Scotia works is
Mm.
because we're so spread out, and there's, you know, we have various kind of diversity of individuals, where we have like higher income people or lower income people. We have, you know, people of different cultural backgrounds, that we had to base something around inclusivity. So we
Yeah.
had to make, so by reaching out to places like the nursing homes in the areas, and goals, which is an abbreviation for Guysborough Options for Adaptive Living. So these are individuals that have developmental challenges.
Mm.
We have done workshops with them. So I think this might be the third year that we're going into doing workshops with them. The community's culture, tourism, and heritage, we've had grants through them to help. So we go in with them and do workshops, art workshops, like every Monday with the goals community. I was down there actually in kind of sitting in one of the workshops, and I was just asking some of the participants, like, what do these mean to you? Like, do you enjoy it? They love it and they look forward to it every day. And the talent that's coming
Yeah.
out of these individuals, and just how much they've even developed their own skills, has just been mind blowing. Like, they all have these strengths. They all have their own unique abilities. And it's been really interesting to see the dynamic between our artists and these individuals, and how it's really kind of building their confidence, especially when it comes to creativity. So it's
Yeah.
been really, really cool. And even the nursing homes, one of our artists, Moni Durr, she actually did an interview with CBC Morning here not too long ago. We had funding through the New Horizons grant for seniors for 2 years. So they were funding the workshops, but then the funding ran out. So ArtWorks East has been paying for her supplies to go down, but she's been volunteering her time and travel to go down there, because she's seen how much of an impact it's been having on the seniors. So it's been a really kind of, it's what we need in the area at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, especially with the population, that it dwindled so much, you know, when I was growing up, and there wasn't really much opportunity. A lot of young people had to move away. And now seeing this collective of artists just kind of emerge and just say, you know what, we're going to make a difference here, and we're going to do something to help, you know, motivate people, and bring that community atmosphere back into Guysborough County again. And it's just
Nice.
really, it's been amazing. Like, just as an even outsider looking into it all. Yeah.
Great. That's cool. I did some art facilitation recently for a group of folks that, you know, they don't necessarily identify as artists. And one thing I found interesting is people are so afraid to make a mistake, or you know, whatever. They're just afraid. And
Yeah.
I kept trying to get them to just let go of all of that. Do you find that sort of an experience with folks?
Yeah, like, I do notice that sometimes, like, people can kind of get in their heads a bit, and because I think we're so conditioned around this idea of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, we can't, when it comes to art, it's not about perfection. It's about expression. It's about tapping into something deeper in yourself and giving an outlet for that. And kind
Yeah.
of like you said, just letting loose and being free, and just kind of moving beyond boundaries that you and limitations that you set upon yourself. So we do notice this sometimes. Like, I know my sister, she was doing, she's a member of ArtWorks East, and she's done some workshops through ArtWorks East, but then she was taking some, she started something actually here in the community, because there was an interest for paint nights. And what we did notice was, at first, like, kind of what I'm very much an observer. So I was kind of observing
Mm.
what everybody was saying, and people were really hard. Even myself, I was even saying, like, oh my God, I'm painting like a toddler. Like, but then the end result actually turned out pretty good. And that's, if we can just get out of our heads,
Yeah.
then we can allow ourselves to be more free and have more fun with it. So I did notice, as the workshop went on, even though people were kind of being hard on themselves at first, pretty soon people were laughing, they were carrying on, they were joking. And then at the end, we were all proud of the work we put in. We were really happy with the
Yeah.
results. So yeah, you do see that. You do see people being hard on themselves, and but I really think it's because of kind of how we're conditioned in society of this perfection, and that we can't mess up or we can't make a mistake. And
Uh,
I feel like art is a remedy to that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you have your own creative practice, Good Karma Handmade Goods.
Yeah. So that's a little interesting thing. So I started with just making, it was just simple making mala bracelets. And um, it was, the goal of it was to sell bracelets and take portions of what I made off my sales and donate them to local nonprofits. So for
Mhm.
the past 2 years, 2 to 3 years here in Guysborough, I've been donating to the Guysborough Food Bank, but I've expanded. I make necklaces, I make earrings, bracelets, metaphysical items as well. And then I also promote my sister's artwork through my business, and she does wood burnings. She does various mediums. She makes wreaths like out of natural products. Uh, she does her acrylic painting on canvas. She does sketching. So we've kind of combined this in a way to really find a way that, hey, we can support ourselves as artists in the community, but we can also give back as
Mhm.
well. And
Yeah.
it's just really nice that actually the president of ArtWorks East, Jack, had approached me last year to join ArtWorks East because my sister had become a member first. And he's like, hey, you should join too. And, I wasn't sure where my place would be exactly, but I'm so happy I joined because it's like I found a whole new community. And in the meantime of all this, I was having a lot of health issues. I have a condition called
Uh,
endometriosis, and I
uh-huh.
actually had to raise close to $28,000 to go out of country for care because I couldn't get it here. And there was
Wow.
a lot of support through Artwork C. Some of those members were coming out and they were, donating to my cause. They were,
Oh,
showing up to the fundraising concerts. And it just really showed me like, this is more than just art. This is more than a gallery. This is more than just, teaching art to people. This is a movement. This is something where it's
right.
showing that we don't just want to support you as artists. We want to support you as people. And it's a really beautiful thing that's kind of unfolding here. And just and even the collaboration between Artworks East and like Castaway Cafe down in Guysborough, they've allowed us to host art workshops there. The Shedabukdo Lifestyle Complex, they've provided space there for us. We actually hosted our first community art showcase where we, in the gymnasium at the Shedabukdo Lifestyle Complex, we had different stations set up for hands-on workshops. And then outside in the galleyway there was a display of community members' art, not our artists, but the community members' art who had taken part in the workshops. So they were
Hmm.
so excited because they got to display their art for the community members to see, and then also community members got to come in and take part of these handmade on these hands-on workshops. And it was just like so many, like even young people wanting to try stained glass, and they were just so excited. Like
Right.
I was kind of the observer because I was taking the pictures as the marketing consultant. So I wasn't kind of in, I was more kind of just taking everything in, and it was just seeing the kids running from station to station, but not just the kids, the parents are so excited. They were sitting there doing arts and crafts, and I'm like, it felt like they were really tapping into that kind of inner child again,
Yeah.
and really having fun with it. And I was this is so cool. Jaime Batiste, he stopped by, and then Joanna, oh my god, I forget her last name, she was running for the NDP in the area. They were both by, and they had so much fun. Even Joanna said, I definitely want to come back and take part in this again. And she was there the whole time with her. There was two families that came. Like, they just had so much fun with it. And
Yeah.
so we're hoping to make this like a yearly thing.
That's what it's all about. So I'm glad you touched on that because I often get DMs and like not even young, because I don't necessarily like to use that word. It's not necessarily young artists, but people maybe just they've been doing something else their whole life, but they're like, I've always been an artist, and I want to make some moves towards, you know, professionalizing in some way. And one of the things I've been saying lately is something I took for granted forever is join your local arts organization.
Yeah.
Uh, get involved in the community, show up at events, just show up even.
Yeah.
Uh, eventually you'll get the nerve to talk to somebody maybe.
Yeah.
And this is like a prime example of that because like so many things have opened up for me just from simply getting off of Instagram and like talking to people
Yeah.
and meeting people. So
Yeah. There's
yeah,
value in that human connection, which we're
absolutely.
it's starting to kind of diminish more with the rise of social media, but at the same time we're so, in a way, in order to get the word out there, we kind of have to use social media because that's kind of what we've been limited to. That the whole
Yeah,
word of mouth and bulletin board thing is, I mean, people still, I mean, it's still beneficial, especially in rural areas, but places like Halifax, for instance, people probably rely a little bit more on social media, for instance. Um, so there is value in that human connection, but it also helps you make like connections with other artists. And when you're talking to other people and community members, all of a sudden now people can put the face to the name. So when
yes,
they're looking at your art and they're like, oh, this is by Dwayne. Oh, I know Dwayne. I met him over at that art event, and oh, what a nice guy. And then people want to support you more because they
yeah,
have that connection to you. There's that
yeah,
personal connection. So that's one thing I've noticed, is it seems that the thing that sells the most, especially in a culture where we're kind of losing that essence of authenticity, is
hmm.
authentic connections. People want to buy your stories.
They buy from you, right?
Yeah,
They do like like they can get, a beautiful portrait of a landscape or portrait, a beautiful painting of a landscape or whatever from many different places. But if they make a direct connection with you,
yep,
that makes a difference. And that blew my mind when I realized that because I have a tendency to be a little weird or mysterious in my social media and, not be very wordy. But then people meet me in real life and are like, oh, yeah, actually a nice guy.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's the thing. It's like social media kind of creates that barrier where, you know, you don't really get to know the person. It takes a little bit more to like penetrate through that surface to kind of get to the individual. But when you meet the
yeah,
individual in person, you get more of that. Oh, okay, this is what they're about. You get to
yeah,
feel their energy, especially. That's a big thing,
right.
is being in someone's presence and their energy. Yeah.
But I do want to caveat that because you said something also that I agree with in terms of reach, because I would not be where I am, not that I'm much, but I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for social media because it was hard for me to figure out how to get into certain rooms and
Yeah.
circles. And social media was able to like make it easier for me to make contacts with certain people I would have never met otherwise. And then I got to meet them in real life. So there is a balance. It's
Oh yeah.
just, because I see people also completely resistant to social media, and I don't necessarily think that that's the approach either.
No,
Yeah,
no, there's a middle ground that you kind of have to walk where you're not fully kind of becoming dependent on one thing. It's like you kind of have to cast a wide net, so to speak, or like I say, keep throwing things at the board and then whatever sticks, sticks. But you can't be fully dependent on one
yeah,
platform, or yeah, you kind of
yeah,
have to diversify, and really that's where you're going to probably see your best results.
absolutely. Because
Yeah,
yeah, I see people's feelings getting hurt when their algorithm changes and
yeah,
their family or friends don't like their posts and things like that. And it's like, well, that's your sign to
yeah.
expand.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean, I know personally just from even that running my Good Karma business, is been it's been a challenge trying to navigate the algorithms and how they're
yeah,
constantly changing for engagement. But
yeah,
really, my business has still grown because although I utilize social media, I still make sure that I'm making those connections in the community and showing up to markets and things like that. So yeah.
yeah. So, question for you and your sister. Was one of you considered the artist, or did both of you kind of identify as artists growing up?
So I used to draw a lot when I was younger. I used to draw like horses and animals and stuff like that. But then I got out of it. My sister, she was always the drawer and the artist as far as like painting and like visual arts.
Okay.
Whereas I was the poet and the musician, the
Cool.
singer songwriter. She plays music too. So we're kind of artistic in many forms, but she was more the visual artist, where I was
Yeah,
more
yeah.
the kind of the writer, so to speak.
Uh,
Yeah. But really she was kind of an inspiration. I think we've kind of inspired each other in many ways. Like I inspired her to kind of navigate more of the singing aspect. She used to rap too. She used to write raps and stuff. She
oh,
was really
really?
good. Yeah, she's really good too.
What's the name?
Um, her name's Patty. Well, she's called Patty Mac, Queen Patty Mac, I think, like that. But she never
Okay.
went. She never had any like records or anything. Just a
Oh,
few
okay, okay.
like little things she just do at her computer. But she's really good. She's probably going to kill me for even remembering this. She's just like, why did you bring that up? This is
Listen,
the
I
past.
have a couple mixtapes that will never, ever, ever be released.
But they're probably really good. That's the thing. Is
Oh
we're
no,
so
they're not
hard.
good. They're terrible.
She's gonna be so mad. She's like, "Oh, Cairista, why did you bring that up?" So, but yeah, we kind of inspire ourselves, and just actually, when I even started my business, like I was thinking, like when I was making these jewelry, I kept telling her, "It's like I want to promote your art. Like your art's really good. Like our whole apartment, me and her lived together, and like her apartment was like an art gallery because she wasn't selling her art, but she just would paint and then
Just
put it up on the wall.
compulsive.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
compulsive. So then when we moved, we ended up having to move down with our parents. Just one, I was having health issues, and then she's a single mom, so it was getting harder to live up in Halifax.
Hmm.
So we all moved home. So there's 3 generations in one household at the moment. But the problem is she doesn't have the same space to display her art. So that's when she joined ArtWorks East, she was thinking, okay, now I have a
Wow.
place to at least put my art, right? So it's been really, really cool. And we've kind of been working as a team as much. She's the secretary actually for ArtWorks East, so she's on the board.
Cool.
And I was able. So one of the other benefits that ArtWorks East have had in the community is actually creating jobs. So the summer
Amazing.
gallery, we hire a youth worker down there for the summer gallery, and then they've been applying usually like once a year for the Nova Scotia job creation program. So that's what I'm currently under at the moment. So
Okay.
it's been a huge benefit for me because I was on and off work for about 4 years because of health reasons.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up on income assistance because that I just couldn't get approved for disability. There's just a lot of barriers when you have endometriosis that you find out along the way. But this opportunity became available, and I was able to get approved for it.
Mhm.
And it's been so cool because I get to work from home. I get to be a part of this organization. I kind of get to work around my own business activities, but also my health, managing my health, which is crucial.
Yeah.
And just having that kind of supportive system around me that check in to say, like, how are you feeling today? Like, how is your health this week? And, make sure that, I'm not overworking myself, or like, it's just been really supportive. And, as this organization grows, I can only imagine that more opportunities will emerge from it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want, if you don't mind, I'd like to tap into the endometriosis bit, if you're comfortable talking about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've had some friends who've kind of gone through some of that, and it does feel like it's a gendered issue in a lot of ways, like where
Yeah.
women are feeling unsupported or unrecognized for symptoms and things like that. Has that been your experience, and how has that, I don't know, have you found any improvement, I guess, in that space?
That's a hard question because in my time, I mean, I haven't really seen a whole lot of improvement. Like, yes, there's for instance, there has been an opening of an endometriosis clinic at the IWK. There has been a lot of people that have gotten help through that. Unfortunately, it wasn't helpful for me. And that's why I had to go out of country. I've been in contact with politicians. You know, I thought once I got the surgery done and I started the advocacy work that it would like, hey, like I had to go say $28,000. I should have been able to access that care here in this country. And I was like, hey, this should be easy to get news coverage. This should be easy to approach politicians with. It's been an uphill battle. Which is, but I'm a fighter and I'm not going to give up, because just because I have my life back, doesn't mean that I'm just going to abandon the cause, and because there's so many women out there that need help.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping, actually, I started an endometriosis support group. It's one of the first in its area in the Guysborough area. This is going to be our third session, and we've actually been incorporating art into the support groups. So that's another way kind of, but as far as it's hard, we definitely need more funding when it comes to training and research. The way that we approach the disease up here in Canada is very outdated, and I would even say at times backwards. And we're still running into those, it's when I have had a chance to talk to a couple politicians, I explained to them, I said, you know, this is a cultural issue. This isn't just as simple as like, oh, doctors are gaslighting patients. I said, well, why are so many doctors gaslighting patients? Well, because there's something wrong with the culture in which we've normalized women's pain and suffering, and that's why we can easily gloss over it. So when I go in, I've been called mentally unstable by one of my doctors because I was frustrated and in pain and in tears in her office. And then the next phone call, I'm being called mentally unstable. I'm like, if you were going through the pain and symptoms that I'm going through every day,
you would be feeling that way.
You would be feeling that way. And it's not mental instability. It's a real life reaction to what is happening in your life.
Right.
And if anything, I was far from mentally unstable.
Yeah. No, it's just legitimate. I'm in pain. I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling unheard. And of course, I'm going to present a certain way, because you would if you're enduring something for so long.
Yeah. So it's a challenge, but you know, I'm feeling hopeful.
Good.
I'm actually going to be helping another young lady try to fundraise to go out of country. It's at this point, it's like, if I can't apply enough pressure on the system to get the changes done here, then, you know, we're going to have to try to find alternative ways to get these women help. And if it means trying to help them fundraise to go out of country, then that's what we're going to do. And I also just actually wrote a letter here just recently asking the premier to make access to birth control free, because at least, although it's not a solution, you know, it doesn't actually treat the disease itself, but it can help manage symptoms. And if that's just a short-term, something that we can come up with to at least bide time while all these other larger things are taking place, that's only a small step they could take.
Right.
A very, very small step. So we'll see what takes place. But, you know, really, if it wasn't for, like, to even go back to art, if it wasn't for, you know, having that outlet, I probably would have been severely depressed, you know, going through all that. It was hard. There's many days you wake up and you ask yourself, can I keep doing this every day? Is this going to be my life? So when you have that positive outlet, and even just by becoming a member of like ArtWorks East, for instance, and kind of joining in that community aspect, it's been really moving, you know, to see that like support can come in these really kind of these ways that you don't expect. And I'm very, very, very grateful. And I'm not just saying that because I work for the organization, but I am really, really grateful for everything they've done in this community, and how they're just continuing to expand and grow. And I mean, like, to put it in perspective, the population of Guysborough County, we're looking at about 7,600 people. And then just in Guysborough, the little town itself, you're looking at about maybe 400 people. You know, in my community, there used to be, when I was younger, there was probably between 100 and 150 people that lived in my community, and now we're probably at like maybe 40, 50, but it's starting to grow. There's more people starting to move into the community. And when you have things like this, like ArtWorks East, where you can have hands-on workshops, and even close by in like your neighboring communities, that gives a little bit more incentive for families to come into the area, because they're like, oh, there's things here for my kids to do,
Yes.
or there's things for me
Yes.
to do, or there's
Yeah.
an art, or like if I'm an artist moving into a rural area, it's just like maybe I came from a more populated area where there was a lot of art organizations and more choice, and now I might move to a smaller area, maybe feel a little isolated, not know the people. But one thing when it comes to rural living, get involved in your communities. That's the
Yes.
only, community is a big aspect of survival out here,
Yeah.
and you're not going to survive without a strong community base behind you. It's going to be that much harder. So at least ArtWorks East provides that for the artists that are coming in our area, but
Mhm.
just even those that are curious about the arts and maybe wanting to kind of explore their own inner artist, for instance.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions there. This one kind of goes back to your endometriosis thing, but then the other one goes back to ArtWorks East. Because I'm just curious out of selfish curiosity.
That's
I
fine.
I I was in the hospital a bit last year or 2023. Timelines are messing me up now. And I'm kind of a psycho a little bit. And I was beating myself up because I didn't turn my hospital stay into like an artist residency and paint while I was laid up and all of that. I basically just was like playing my Nintendo Switch and watching whatever nonsense and scrolling Instagram.
Yeah.
So, did you ever feel any pressure to like do stuff productively, whether it's art
Oh,
or otherwise?
yeah, because especially where I'm the type of personality where a lot of my kind of identity prior to having this illness was based around my work ethic.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you're someone that really works hard and puts whatever you can into a job, when all of a sudden now you can't work anymore, or it's harder to do the things that you were, you become really hard on yourself, because
yeah,
you're comparing yourself to who you were before the illness really took hold. And that was a very big learning curve for me, is like I had to tell myself, like, Cairista, like, you're not that same person in this time frame. So
mm,
you have to live in accordance with like where your body is, like where your
yeah,
mind is, and don't be hard on yourself. If you, so one thing that I always found very beneficial that I've learned over time was, don't just focus on the little wins, you know what I
yeah.
mean, and celebrate those. Because someone, that's a big thing. Like, for instance, for me to take my dog out and get my laundry done in a day, that was a big feat
That's a
for
win.
me. That's a
Yeah,
win, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we can celebrate those. It doesn't mean that, hey, I put 8-hour workday in. That would be great if I was healthy, but I wasn't in a good state. So
yeah,
it's looking at these little things, and you have to learn not to be hard on yourself or your body, because a lot of us take our frustrations out on our body, and we're like, why aren't you working? Why are you broken? Why can't you
yeah,
just keep up? But what we don't realize is our bodies are working as hard as they can. They're really doing as much as they can with, and trying their best to support us while our with the state of health that we're in. Like,
yeah,
our body is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And when we look at ourselves as broken, it doesn't send a good message to our body, because it's this
hmm,
judgment. It's just like, your body is doing what it's supposed to in this moment, and it's fighting so hard for you,
yeah,
and it's practicing that compassion. So it's like, even in your instance there too, of like being hard on yourself, like, I should have been doing art, maybe that was your little break though from, it's kind of holding that compassion for yourself to say, you know what, I don't have to feel like I have to be doing this, or like, what does this say about me? It's just like, well, no, sometimes you can just be. You can do the endless doom scrolling, and you can play on your Switch. That doesn't take anything away from you as a person or artist. You're still a person. You're allowed to take part in those things.
yeah,
Um, and sometimes that's as much energy as we have. at that
Yeah.
moment in time, like to get up. As much as we would say, like, you know, I want to be productive and use this time of healing to create beautiful art, maybe sometimes our body's just like, you know what, right now I just have the energy for doom scrolling and, you know, playing on my Switch. And that is completely okay.
That's
You know,
okay.
yeah, because guess what? You have lots of time now that you can take part in art now. You know,
Yeah.
one of the big things is what you'll realize when you go through an illness is that you have to practice so much compassion for
Hmm.
yourself, your body, and not to be so hard. Like I said, in society, we're very much conditioned to be human doings, that we have to
Yeah.
constantly be productive, be pushing something out, that we don't take that time to just be. And
Hmm.
sometimes that's the nice thing about art too, but it's like what state of mind am I in if I feel that obligation that I have to sit down and create like 20 jewelry pieces to go into a store? Like, I'm not putting myself in a good mindset because now it feels like an obligation instead of like going and just creating that art because I felt like it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a difference there, and it can produce different results. So when you feel like, oh, I have to do this,
Hmm.
then you're putting more pressure on yourself, and as a result you're limiting yourself sometimes in ways, or you're not enjoying it as much because that feels like that obligation.
Yeah.
But if you can just approach it when you really feel like doing it, then it doesn't feel like an obligation so much. It's just like, no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
And
in
that's the
that state of
difference.
mind.
That's the difference between like an art business and some of my friends who are more just straight up entrepreneurs, because it's hard for them to grasp the idea that you wouldn't just like churn and burn through, you know how to make that. Why don't you just make 50? Like,
Yeah.
and we our brains don't work that way.
No, exactly. And I don't think they should because I think that's honestly what's causing us so many health issues and mental health issues is this.
Yeah,
It's pushing us to burnout, you
right,
know.
right.
And that's what I do notice sometimes within in the art community at times is like, we have to be very, very careful that we don't kind of fall into the like capitalistic structure of like produce, 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 do to the point that
Yeah,
the soul is just sucked completely out of whatever we're doing.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Got to find that balance.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
two questions. Does ArtWorks East have a residency? And if so, if not, is that something they might be considering?
I haven't heard any talk of it yet, but the way that we're expanding, it might be very much something that might be a possibility in the future.
Mm,
That now that you've brought that up, that might be actually something I'm going to run by. I'm
yeah,
going to make a note, run by our president Jack. But yeah, that could be something in the future as we start to kind of grow and expand. You know, right now we only have the summer gallery. We don't
mm,
have like a permanent space like year round.
okay,
So maybe that would be something, you know, down the line if we do end up finding something that is permanent and we can have that support kind of year round to you know, keep it going.
yeah,
You know, summer tends to be a very like we have a lot of tourism in the area, so we do
mm,
rely a lot on tourism here in Guysborough. So that's typically why we focused on the summer. But you know, with the change kind of that's going on with like trade and bringing down kind of those interprovincial barriers, maybe
uh-huh,
there's that opportunity to create more of a year-round travel destination. And if that's the case, we might be able to actually down the line support a year-round gallery. You know, that's kind
yeah,
of an idea that we could play with, and as a result, you know, that we could look at things like art residencies at that point.
yeah,
Unfortunately, we're still growing, we're still somewhat small, but hey, we're always open to you know, whatever direction this is going to take us. And an art residency would probably be a really cool thing
yeah.
to set up in the area.
Yeah, even like, getting people from away to come in, or even just having residency for someone local to set up space temporarily just to hang out and interact with the community. I'm on my first residency right now, so that's where my mind is. And it's just been amazing. Just sitting in the space, you know, chilling. I'm working sometimes I'm not, but you're just
Yep.
meeting people all the time and getting to talk about your work, and they love meeting artists. So it's anyway, something interesting to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and then the last thing is, how can we support Artworks East or get involved if we are in the area?
So our membership at this moment in time is open to members of Guysborough County, but
Hmm.
people can support outwardly. We do accept donations. So
Okay.
you can email myself at info@artworkseast.ca for more information on kind of how to get involved, or if you'd like to donate and support our initiative. I don't know if at some point we might open the membership up more or not, but definitely, like, you can follow our social media pages. There's Facebook, Artworks East. There's Instagram, which is artworkseast.awe.
Okay.
We have a website, artworkseast.ca, and there is a members tab as well as a get involved tab. If you kind of scroll down to the bottom of the page there, you'll find that. But if anybody would like to learn more information, and actually, just to back up a bit, we're actually having our first ever gallery opening night social that's taking part June 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. down on the Guysborough waterfront at the Artworks East Gallery.
Amazing.
And that will be an event. It's a free event. There'll be a cash bar 50-50. So that 50-50 will help support the Artworks East. But it'd be a great way to, if you want to learn more how to get involved, if you want to take a trip down our way and meet some of the artists, because we'll have quite a few of our artists there attending the event, different community members.
Hmm.
Our president will be there. So that's another great way to kind of come in and see. Also keeping an eye on any workshops or any community events that we're holding. You can find that on our events tab under our website.
Okay.
We're open, like if you're visiting the area and we're offering a workshop, you are more than welcome to sign up and take part in that. Like, so you don't have to be a member of Guysborough County to sign up for the
Yeah.
workshops per se. You could be a tourist, for instance.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's all of that going on. And then our gallery itself opens officially for the season June 28th, Saturday, June 28th, starting at 10 a.m. And then it runs from the season till about the end of August, where we switch to weekends only in September. And then the end of September, we close again for the season. But yeah, if people want to donate, we're open to donations. If they want to come support our workshops, if they want to come support any events that we're involved in, that is a great way to kind of help us, keep our mission going here.
Great. Amazing. And of course, we got to promote your socials, how people find
Oh,
you
yeah.
if you want to promote your stuff, you know.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, Good Karma Handmade Goods and Art. On Instagram, it's Good Karma Goods and Art. And if you want to follow along with my advocacy pages with endometriosis, it's Healing with Endo 902 on Facebook and Healing with Endo 902 on Instagram as well. So if that's the best way to contact me. Yeah. So if you want to give me a follow, or if there's any information you'd like to, more information you'd like to learn about me, and whether it be my business or
Yeah.
my advocacy work, they can contact me through those mediums.
Absolutely. That's incredible. And yeah, please, folks, I know some of you out there struggling with some of this or would like to find ways to support this. So this is a fellow community member for you to connect with. So Cairista, thank you for joining me for Art Pays Me, and I wish you best of luck and success going forward.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you having me on. It's been great. And we were looking so forward to being part of this podcast, because the work you're doing is amazing as well.
No, thank you. Thank you.